Have you ever wondered about the journey of a leader? What drives them? Motivates them? What pivotal moments help direct them on the road to success? Join us weekly for real conversations, empowering stories, and impactful insights that is sure to take you on an engaging adventure. Here, On the Road with Yemi Akande-Bartsch. Today's podcast is brought to you by Jim Butler Auto Group, your local automotive powerhouse. Leadership is about vision, resilience, and the courage to push boundaries. On this episode of On the Road with Yemi Akande-Bartsch, I am thrilled to be joined by Lus Haberberger, President and CEO of Luzco Technologies. She's been a trailblazer in this industry because she's been able to redefine what it means to lead with innovation and impact. She's built a company that's rooted in forward-thinking solutions, collaboration, and a passion for excellence. I'm excited to hit the road today and uncover the journey behind the leader. Welcome to On the Road with Yemi Akande-Bartsch, and I am super excited about our guest today because it is none other than Lus Haberberger, who I met actually quite recently, and I feel like we're becoming fast friends. And her story is really quite inspirational, and we're going to dive into her leadership journey, who are some of the people that have influenced her, the importance of legacy and community involvement, and perhaps even some areas that we didn't even know that we are going to dive into. But before we dive in, I want to say Happy Engineers Week.
Thank you.
Because that celebration is certainly something that's radiating at your company today. And the warmth in which your team members welcomed me into it, it really is an extension of you. So
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that.
So you're doing the culture thing really, really well within your organization.
And it is so funny because how long were you at the office?
I was just there for like under 5 minutes.
Yes, see?
Yes.
And I love that because people have told me this before, that they are like, I just get good energy, good vibes every time that I come into the office, and I'm like, oh, thank you. That's all I'm trying to do.
You are doing that exceedingly well, and I have to say, it doesn't hurt that I saw, I kind of have a sweet tooth, so I saw sweets all over. I saw donuts in your office, and I was like, this is my kind of vibe. So congratulations on your success thus far, and I'm excited to dive into conversation.
Thank you. No, I'm honored. I mean, this is incredibly fun, by the way. I'm like, somebody's going to drive me around and ask me questions.
Yes, it's fun. I feel like I know this region like the back of my hands just because of the work that I do and the relationships that I have. And I remember when I was growing up in Nigeria, one of the things that my dad would do is he would tell us stories as we traveled all throughout Nigeria. And I never forgot that. And I actually saw it as, early leadership lessons that has led me really to what I do today and what my passions are. But let's dive into the interview with you today. Who would you say was that person who inspired you and saw, potential in you when you were growing up that has stuck with you?
Well, growing up, when I was little, for sure, definitely my parents. Both of my parents were petroleum engineers, so I grew up watching them in their professions, and huge advocates for engineering, and always motivated us to be inquisitive and curious and ask tons of questions. So when I was growing up, but actually interesting, it was, I think, maybe in 6th grade or something, my math teacher was she was like, you are really good at math. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think that affirmation was like, oh, maybe because I'm good at math, I can become an engineer just like my parents.
Right.
And then in high school, I also had very good professors who kept saying the same thing, like, oh, you're really good at math. Wow. Have you thought of engineering? I'm like, But to my journey, somebody that believed in me, which I think that's what you asked also, was my advisor at California State University in Los Angeles.
Got it.
But so I was getting my master's degree, And oh my gosh, I struggled getting my first job. I interviewed over 35 times, and it was always no, 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 no. But my mentor, he was like my advisor for my thesis. He's like, all you need is somebody that knows how good you are. Let me put in some calls. And of course, he knew some people.
He knew everybody to make it happen.
And and that's it. I got my sponsorship.
Wow.
But I think if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be, a combination of him and my husband, I wouldn't be here in the United States. So that was very pivotal. Yeah.
Wow. That's an awesome story, and it really is an inspiring story to many who find themselves in situation. The brilliance is there, the skills is there, but just having someone who could pick up the phone and make that call, it's very important. And as you know, St. Louis is a very relationship-oriented city or region. As a matter of fact, I think perhaps any city, or for that matter, any country, is relationship-based. So it's important to keep those relationships and to keep on nurturing them. So let's talk about the Luzco Technologies. And if I didn't mention it, she is the CEO of Luzco Technologies, LLC. Tell us about that journey. How did it start? Where was the spark? Because I just walked through your office, and it is massive. It is massive and impressive.
Thank you. Yes, it's exciting. So interesting enough, yes, it is Engineers Week this week, and today, 8 years ago, is when my LLC went live.
Oh my gosh!
So happy 8th.
Happy 8th anniversary. Happy, just kudos, success.
I know. I feel like I have a very good relationship with somebody upstairs, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
and so
I do.
I don't believe in coincidence, so everything is just luck and good guidance.
You were destined.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, wow.
But how did I start? So the spark actually started also back in LA. After I got my first job and I started working, my husband was doing a PhD program at UCLA. And honestly, I was bored because he was so busy.
Right.
And even though I was working at that point for the electric company there, after work I was like, oh my gosh, he's busy doing his experiments. I'm like, either I find a new boyfriend or I get another degree.
Because you're bored.
Because I'm bored.
Okay, got it.
So I decided to get an MBA from UCLA. And I think being pushed to think differently, taught about entrepreneurship, taught about how to run a business, I was like, oh my gosh, something sparked in me. I was like, maybe one day I can do these.
Wow.
But it wasn't truly until my second boy was born. So I have two boys.
Okay.
Jose and Luca, they're 11 and 12 years old.
Okay.
And at this point, they were both born in upstate New York, Rochester, New York.
You've lived in a couple of places.
Everywhere. I've lived everywhere in the United States, and I tell you, St. Louis is my most favorite.
Aw, that warms my heart. I agree.
I absolutely love this city.
Yes.
And but when my second boy was born, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do something. I felt very conflicted. How can I become the mother I know I want to be without sacrificing my career? And I saw my mother sacrifice her career, and kind of like, I don't want to say regretted it, but I could see some resentment in her.
Yeah.
And she quit her petroleum engineer job to raise the four of us. I have three siblings.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I just didn't want to do that. I was like, she's an amazing mother. I love my mother so much, and she has done an amazing job raising us. But I was like, so that building, that's Humble's beginnings of Luzco. So that's the building.
So, for those of you that know Chippewa, we're actually going down memory lane here, and we are about to drive past where today is the humble beginnings of Luzco Technologies. And it's this massive Lansdowne medical building. Wow.
Yeah, but we were in a suite in the third floor, like a small office there.
Gotcha.
And this building is a very old building.
Wow.
The elevator didn't work, but the price was right.
Wow.
So that's where we started.
And now you've grown massively, and you are in, I don't even know what the square footage of the place that
17,000.
Wow. That is, so for any entrepreneurs that's listening to this interview with Luz, know that you can do it. Know that when you have that spark, you need to lean into that spark regardless of how you feel. And you had gone to, Burmaster's program that continued to nurture that spark.
Oh, yeah.
In a way that here you are today.
Yes, continue learning for sure. I mean, that's the way to achieve your dreams. It's like becoming better every single day.
Yes.
And not letting fears get in the way.
So let's talk about the fear for a minute.
Yeah.
What would you say to people that are like, I can't do this? You mentioned the work-life balance, motherhood.
Yes.
I know a handful of people that, it's that tad bit of, if I do this, how can I do it? Do I have villagers around me that could be wraparound support? Or should I just table something like this till my kids have graduated from college, which by then might be a little, behind the times.
Yes.
So what advice, what suggestion do you have for them?
So yes, when I started Luzco, the boys were not even 2 and 3, right? So you're like, oh my gosh, really? And you wanted to have more time to spend with the boys.
Yeah.
But I knew exactly that. It's like, if I don't do it now, when am I gonna do it?
Yes.
And this is one of the reasons why I love St. Louis. Oh my gosh, I think and we have been recognized for being one of the top cities for startup companies.
That is true. That is true.
The amount of support that the city has is remarkable.
Wow.
So, I mean, of course, I joined the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which, by the way, you don't have to be Hispanic to be a member of it.
Yes.
But just like that, there are so many different associations, right? Greater St. Louis,
GSL.
GSL, the Cortex. I mean, you can
correct.
go on and on and on so many different programs that you can participate to get the boost to help you.
Right.
But the first step is to get out of your head and say,
that is true.
Don't be afraid.
Yes.
Just do it. What's the worst that can happen?
Yes. Wow. That is reassuring, encouraging, and all the resources that you've mentioned here. We have a lot of cultural chambers here. We have African Chamber, we have the Asian American Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber you mentioned as well. Those are all excellent. And it's in being in community with individuals that they can help champion you in ways that perhaps you haven't even thought of.
Correct.
So those are really, really great words of wisdom. So what are some of the things that drive you, that inspires you?
Mentoring, teaching, helping others, that fools me. So I think that's how Luzco also was able to grow. When I started the company in 2017, it was me and another person working part-time, which quickly turned into like, oh my gosh, can you do full-time?
Wow.
She's my employee number 1 who now...
She's still with you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's our director of business development. So she's out there, growing the business.
That's amazing. How did you find her? Did you just know her from a prior...
A phone call, right?
Oh,
somebody knew somebody. That's
yes, know somebody to make sure that happens. Wow.
But that's, so, I love that. I love teaching, I love mentoring, and that gives me energy. And I think that's why Luzco's vision today is to develop leaders. We believe that if we develop leaders, they will help their families, who in return helps their community. So our vision is improve our communities through industry leaders.
I love that.
Yeah.
What advice would you say you have for someone trying to lead in this environment, or a divided community where people aren't necessarily taking the time to really listen to each other?
Yes. So, when I was forming the company, and of course you have to start thinking, year 1, 2017, we ended up with 5 individuals, amazing individuals. And we were developing, shaping what we wanted the company to be. And the number 1 core value that came was familia. And I was the only Hispanic at that point in the team member, but they were like, Luz, that's such a beautiful concept, and what you're trying to build with the work-life balance and the flexibility and the understanding that life happens and how you don't have to sacrifice your career depending on life. Right. We all agreed on familia. Later on, as we continued to progress, we developed our second core value, which is diversity. And I think that was a beautiful accidental concept and value, because what we mean is diversity of perspective and acceptance and agree to disagree.
I like that.
So it is not the way we look. It is not the way we speak. It is not what religious belief we have. It's not our sexual orientation. And not our professional background, the differences, but it is that difference in perspective that we all can leverage and make us stronger. So the way that I lead is, hey, you don't have to agree on my beliefs.
Right.
I actually don't want to change who you are.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
But let's agree that we're going to respect and care and love for each other and work towards a common goal, which in our case at Luzco is improve our communities through industry leaders. And how do we do that? Through engineering. That's our means.
Wow.
We deliver, we're driving around and you see poles. We have engineers that design these poles. We have engineers that calculate the load. We have civil, electrical, but yeah, that's the means, but that's not what motivates the whole 110 familia members to move forward. It is the common goal of making our communities better. So that's how I lead, and that would be my advice. It's like, guys, it is our diversity of perspective that makes us stronger. Let's embrace it.
That is so true, and I like how you've explained that, because it's something that all 110 of your employees can agree on.
Yes.
In ways in which we can make our community better.
Exactly.
I love that. What would you say is one overlooked thing about St. Louis that not many people talk about, but it's something that you've come to appreciate about this region?
That sense of community. I feel like everybody actually wants to help. People are so nice. You just have to ask. You just have to put in the work. I mean, of course, nobody's going to come to you and say, hey, you need these.
Right.
No, you have to put yourself out there. Show up, belong, make yourself available to the community, reciprocate, right? Be there for helping others. But the sense of community in St. Louis is huge. My kids play hockey, and I tell you, it is an amazing community too there. Aww. So whatever it is that you're looking for, there will be a group for you here.
That's so correct. And I feel like one of the most important things that you have touched upon now is A, showing up, B, asking. And the fact that you got how many people saying no, they weren't gonna hire you, 30-something people at the start of your career, but that was not a deterrent for you.
Right.
Because you persevered, and that's how you are able to have the success that you have today.
Thank you, and I agree. The same with if we have entrepreneurs listening to us, at the beginning it's hard. People will say no to you.
Yes.
Right. You're not known in the industry, perhaps, or your concept has not been proven yet. So don't take it personal. It's like, yes, those no is not a reflection of who you are and the value that you can bring. It's just that you have to be disciplined and be consistent and keep showing up.
Keep showing up and refining your language.
That's right.
And I always tell people, don't always take feedback as failure. Feedback is an opportunity for you to reframe whatever it is you're selling or that you're talking about in a way that makes it sharper. And sometimes you don't even have to take all the feedback. You can just listen.
That's right.
And know which audiences you're talking to and what other adjustments that you need to make to your message. So when I walked into your office today, I saw a couple of business books. Atomic Habits was one of them. And I thought, I've read that book, and there are a couple of others that I saw as well. So I'm curious as to what are some of the leadership lessons that you have learned along the way, whether it's through experiential, experience, something that actually happened, or it was through a book that you read or an article that you read that you said, I am glad I know that now because it has helped me tremendously.
Whew, there are so many. I tell funny story too. I'm an engineer. I was always good in math and science and physics. I never liked Castilian. I mean, of course, my sons, when I tell the story to my children, they're like, you didn't take English? I'm like, no, we don't speak English in Venezuela. So you take this, the Spanish version of it. Right. But I was never good at it. And every time that they would assign us readings, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to read that book. It wasn't until 2017 when I started Luzco that I was like, oh my God, how am I going to lead? People are believing in me.
Right.
How do I become the leader that I want to become? And it was through books. So I read constantly. That's one of the habits that I've gotten is, read leadership books as a hobby.
Yes, yes.
And I always get ideas from each book.
Right.
And I have so many. But an article that I read very early on in 2017 the title was something like, if you want to become a $10 million business, you have to act like a $10 million CEO.
Oh, wow.
And your leadership team has to act like a $10 million CEO.
Wow. Wow.
And we were $700,000 in revenue then when I read that article, and I was like, "You're right.
Yes.
Okay, how do we do that? How do we shift our mindset to act like a $10 million CEO?" Fast forward 8 years later, now we're saying, how do we act like a $35 million CEO?
Wow.
Because we achieved 17.4 last year.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That is amazing. I love it. Certainly inspiration to all folks out there because, they say fake it till you make it, but it has a ... Fake it till you make it, but insert whatever millions you want to be making.
Keep developing, keep growing.
Keep growing. And so what does that entail? If you could break it down, what were some of the behaviors or skills or sort of toolkit that you said, okay, this is how we do that. I know it's evident in your culture because you've shaped that well, and it's evident in your hirings.
Yes.
Because as we were walking through your office, you were saying, oh, hi, Bob, hi, this person, hi. And all I saw was just a sea of people. And I was like, wow, that is impressive. Yes.
Yes. Familia is our number one core value. And actually, there is a book, Everybody Matters by Bob Chapman.
Yes.
Who actually talks exactly about that. He doesn't say, familia, but he says treat everybody like a family. And yes, that's one of the concepts we do. But so early on from 2017, it's like, hey, we're in this together. If we all succeed, if we all win, we all succeed.
Right.
And then delegate and elevate. I cannot do it all, and I don't want to.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
It is okay for me not to be the expert in the room. I don't want to be.
So and that's how you elevate others to where they keep on doing more for you because you're recognizing the talent that they have.
Yeah, and find their passions. What is it that you really want to do?
This show is brought to you by Jim Butler Auto Group, your local automotive powerhouse. What is one question that you wish that people would ask you more on?
I think with success, and of course everybody defines success in different ways, but they only concentrate on what they can see right now and what has happened in the past 8 years, right, since 2017 when we launched the company. So I would love for somebody to be like, how long did it take you? How much effort did you put in? Because it goes way back, right, from that story that I told you, from not giving up.
Right.
In 2008, when people kept saying no to me. It goes even way back when I was in college and I made the decisions to not go party and drink all night, but instead study. So I feel like success doesn't come overnight. Success doesn't come just from the past 7 years.
Right. So, having said that about the past and the present, what excites you about the future of Luzco Technologies?
I have an incredible team. They're amazing, and I love them. And we implemented last year something called entrepreneurial operating system. It's a way of running the company, and they go by this belief, which is you're going to be successful if you do what you love,
right,
with the people you love, making a huge difference in the communities, compensated fairly, with time for other passions.
Wow.
So I'm excited to live my EOS, my entrepreneur operating system life, to achieve all those 5, and for my team to do the same.
I love it. Do what you love. Repeat that again.
Yeah. Do what you love.
Do what you love.
With the people you love.
With the people you love.
Making a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Compensated fairly.
Yes.
With time for other passions. Being family, whatever, hobbies, whatever.
That is excellent. One word that you would use to describe leadership.
Tough.
Tough. I like that. Tough, but you're resilient. What is a dream destination for you?
Beach. It has to be beach related.
Okay.
I absolutely love a good beach. So I never got to go to an island in Venezuela called Los Roques. So I would love to go back and visit.
Okay, I love it. And I love music. I listen to a lot of different genres of music when I'm driving around town or even traveling. So I'm curious, do you have a favorite song or artist that you listen to that warms your heart? Or, for me, it's something that kickstarts my day.
Yep.
Yes.
So everybody who knows me knows that my most favorite singer is Shakira.
Oh, yes. I love Shakira.
Yes. So try
Yes.
everything from, it was the soundtrack for Zootopia.
Okay.
And
yes,
I
yes.
love that song.
I remember it because I've watched it a couple of times now.
With your daughter, for
yes,
sure.
with my daughter, and sometimes solo too. But yes, I love it. And oh wow, that is excellent. So I think I would be remiss if I did not ask you that if you were going on a road trip, who would you take, and what is a must-have item in the car?
So I would take my husband.
Okay.
Good
one.
He is my best friend, partner in crime, my rock, my
Aw.
support system,
That's awesome.
and must have a water bottle.
Water bottle. Okay.
I don't know why, but it's like just sipping constantly, and I'd rather be water instead of coffee, even though I love coffee.
That is true. I love coffee too. I'm reintroducing myself to water, but it's much needed. It keeps you hydrated.
Yes.
So as simple as
I call it
sounds,
inefficient though. You know
Well,
why?
yes,
Because
but-
you have to go to the bathroom so many times.
That is that is so true. But excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. This has been a most enjoyable conversation.
Thank you.
I am walking away, driving away,
Inspired?
feeling inspired. And I'm
Good.
like, let's take on the world.
I think it is the sun. That's why.
Yes, that too. Yes. So for those of you that are tuning in, I am so delighted that we had a chance today to spend time with Lus Haberberger, the CEO of Luzco Technologies. So the name of the company, first part is yours.
Interesting. Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So yes, that was just as creative as I could get. As you know from your Spanish classes, LUZ
Yes.
means light.
Oh,
So my name is actually LUS.
yes.
But it was a play on my name, since we're an electrical engineering company or do design for electric utilities.
Right.
So Luzco.
And you are the light indeed of
Ah,
the world.
ah,
This has
thank you.
truly been a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure's mine.
And I'm sure my listeners were taking copious notes. And, 100 million, I'll come back to you in 6 months. You'll probably tell me you've blown it out to 150, which I
Amen,
would not be
amen.
surprised. So thank you again for joining me on the Road with Yemi Akande-Bartsch, and for tuning in to listen to Lus of Luzco Light Technologies. I love that. Right here in our St. Louis region, who is taking over the engineering world by storm.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. What an incredible conversation with Lus Haberberger, a leader whose passion, innovation, and strategic thinking are truly shaping the future of her industry. From building a company that thrives on collaboration to embracing challenges as opportunities, Lus has shown us what it means to lead with purpose and vision. As we wrap up today's episode, I hope you walk away feeling inspired and ready to take on your own leadership journey. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights from trailblazers across industries. Until next time, keep leading boldly, think creatively, and embrace the road ahead. This show is brought to you by Jim Butler Auto Group, your local automotive powerhouse.